Hey YouTube, Lawler here. We've got a follow-up video for you all today. You guys asked for it, and we're doing exactly that. In a previous video when we were talking rosters, I did mention that I will be coaching for Kansas City Pioneers this year. SSA region, Sub-Saharan Africa, along with To Die For, David, Sweaty, Clarence, Josh, and Lewis P. Lewis. Pretty straightforward there. I told you guys if you had additional questions, comments, concerns, I would gladly answer them for you in a follow-up. So we're doing that today. I've got a couple from chat, and you can already see them probably in the messages on the side. If chat has more, we will answer them throughout this video. But I do and have put out a community post on YouTube that we'll be answering as well. So we're just going to go from top to bottom. We're going to go through these. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but if you guys do enjoy this type of stuff, make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, notifications. If you guys have questions that you did not know about or things that you would like to know more about, let me know in the comments of this one too, and I'll try to reply to them while we're doing a bunch of traveling this week. That being said, first question comes from Eric, and he says, where do you learn your coaching theory and how does it differ from other coaches? Does your team fit well with your coaching system? That's a multifaceted and a very good question. Coaching theory. A lot of people forget that I actually used to be good at the video game a long time ago. I come from a ones background and a traditional sports background, and I do feel, in my personal opinion, that a lot of esports people, because they are young kids, need someone coming from a older perspective, someone that has experience, as I've coached in traditional sports and done management for high level. I have the ability to kind of enact that and instill that into certain things. I think coaching in particular, especially in Rocket League, all the players have gotten to a point where they're pretty dang good. If you're making final debuts, if you're making majors and stuff like that, you have the talent that you need to go and win. You are capable of doing the thing. Every player nowadays, because we haven't seen Rocket League, I think, really increase in skill level, it is more important to focus on the fundamentals, the intangibles, the things, the little small nuances that can give you an advantage. That is both in the game and out of the game. And my theory is focusing on a structure that will always make us competitive, and then making micro adjustments against certain styles, certain tendencies, certain teams. That is what my role is. The other part of it is to make these kids better versions of themselves, whether that be through life experience, whether that being supportive of them, instilling things that are important, kind of using my knowledge and my old sage wisdom as the unk of the group, which thank God they haven't called me that yet, but showing them tricks of the trade. And there's a lot of things that this team already does. Like, all of them go to the gym, all of them work out regularly, all of them eat relatively healthy. Like, there's a lot of things that I think give us an advantage with having a little bit older squad, which is really, really good. So being able to instill that kind of confidence and saying, hey, you guys are doing the right things, you're doing it, these are the results, these are the things that pay off, I think is really important. And providing them a different perspective, both culturally and otherwise, is really important. But I think any coach is going to take inspiration from things that are successful. I think we can historically say, yes, EU has kind of been the top dogs for a while. I think there's certain things that they do, both in their practice and the way they treat it, as well as other things that I've tried to instill with any team that I compete with. That has been stuff that has been a source of inspiration. But I definitely have my own way about going and doing things. That being said, I have to adjust to whatever the team's needs are. So not every player is going to react the same way to criticism. Not every player is going to react to one-on-one type meetings where we sit down and get to know each other and things like that. Some people like it, some people don't. So there is no one-size-fits-all, I think, in that. But I think theoretically, for me, good base structure that'll keep us competitive, and then making the small adjustments. I'm not going to leak strategy-wise what we do or how we do it. What areas are you focusing on coaching? This kind of ties in with that. This comes from Van Houten. In terms of teamwork, playstyle, comms, it's all the above. I think we can always improve, and I tell the same thing to my players. Any feedback from me is greatly appreciated. If you don't like the way I did something, or if there's something that's too much or too little, I need to hear that as well. It is a tug of war between both sides. But yeah, we focus on teamwork. We focus on camaraderie. We focus on making sure that we all get along, that we want to spend time with each other outside of the game, because that stuff, like, you're going to war with these guys. And I know it's obviously like a little over the top saying that, but realistically, it's like the amount of time that you spend with these people, you kind of got to like each other as well. You want to spend time and hang out and banter and have fun as well. Outside of just, hey, we're here to grind, we're here to play, we're here to compete, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we got to fix play styles because clearly SSA, and we'll say it straight up, SSA has not been competitive for a while. My goal, my expectation as we make every major, my goal is for us to win at least one series, not a game, but an actual series, and go not 0-3 at every single international event, and it takes a lot to get there. So I think rightfully so, criticism-wise, everything could get better for SSA. The region needs some help, and to say I'm going to be the answer for all that is not real. It is efforts from both sides. I think everybody, players and myself, need to kind of lead by example and showcase that we're here to work, and we're here to work hard. We're thankful KCP is giving us the opportunity to even do that in the first place. So yeah, playstyle, comms, teamwork, all of it needs to be improved across the board. Ethan asks, how long is a strat viable or a meta viable, and when do you need to pivot away from tried and true methods or of play to break through? I think you take the mentality of don't fix it if it's not broken. But I also am a firm believer of trying to stay one step ahead. I think it's important to, as I've stated previously in this video, have a system or a structure that's reliable. It's something that you can revert back to. When things get chaotic, when there's a lot of pressure on the line, when you're on a stage and a crowd is like cheering against you or booing you or whatever it may be, all those pressures and all those things, you want to be able to revert back to what's instinctual. You need to have something as a base level that makes you feel confident and go, hey, let's play our way. Let's do what we're supposed to do. This is what we put hundreds of thousands of hours into. Let's do us. And that's why I say we start there. That I don't think ever goes away. And I think for any real team, any proper team, they have that. They have a base level of play. This is our system. This is our structure. This is our foundation. And then you make those pivots and those adjustments. I was lucky enough to, when I was doing contract work for V1, I got to watch that team close up for a very long time. And my frustrating thing is watching them is they wouldn't have a base level. They would always try to overly change their style. Like, I remember watching them in London or wherever it was, and they played against Falcons, and they're like, hey, Falcons over aggressives here. We can demo their third man. We've got a free counter. Life is good. And that's all they did. And then they just sat and passively watched Falcons absolutely dunk on them. And it was the most infuriating thing. I'm like, you guys still got to play your game. You still got to make them respect you. Just look for that thing as a secondary. Don't make that your all. And it just, oh, we're down 0-2, 0-3. Now we can play the game we're supposed to. And it's just like, no, you start with your base, then you make adjustments. The only time that differs is if there is a proven play style, and that's just hard work. That's replay analysis. That's checking the tapes. That's doing film study, all that kind of stuff. So my job is to make it as simple as possible for my players. I'm never going to overwhelm them with that stuff. I'm going to basically tee them up and make it simple. Their job is to play the game and be very good at playing said game. I will be there to make sure that we pivot if we need to. So strat, meta, stuff like that, it really depends. If you see something taking the world by storm, if you see certain teams just absolutely dominating over and over again because they're just so far ahead, yeah, I'm probably going to watch that team a lot and go, hey, either we need to do what they're doing or we need to do something that counters what they're doing. But the issue is if everybody isn't doing that, then it doesn't really work. That's why I think we go back to what can we do? Focus on us and our play style. Skydo asks, how do the players and you as a coach spend your weekly RL time? For example, 40% 2v2, 20% replay analysis, 10% strategy discussions, 30% free play or whatever. Realistically, I can tell you SSA ranked is terrible. I am desperately asking and begging for super long boot camps from KCP if the time and the money persists and makes that possible. The more time we spend in SSA, the worse it is for the players. And that's just a hard reality. They get like 100, 140, 180 ping to EU servers. They don't have enough of a player base to have proper rank sessions. It just isn't good practice. If I can bring those guys to North America or Europe for an extended period of time, I will see them play more hours than they've ever played before because ranked is like a privilege. It is something infectious to say, I get to play against people that are in the 2400, 2500 MMR range, which we can't do. We just don't have the queue times for it. So a lot of the time is actually spent playing against and scrimming against a majority of the best teams that we have. We also do a lot of like in-house King of the Hill type stuff where it's like practicing spacing and fundamentals and stuff with the team against each other just to learn familiar and tendency. It's also a very good team building exercise. decent amount of replay analysis and strategy and stuff like that. And then it's just building our chemistry as a team. Like, we're new to each other. We don't know each other personally. So that stuff comes in time. You never really want to force it. But I try to do my best to be like, hey, guys, let's dedicate some time to actually like hanging out and doing some stuff. So it's a mixture. We're still in the learning phases of it. And I'm sure it'll change too once we get to see each other in person and kind of learn about each other that way as well. What are your team's matches going to be broadcast? They should have an SSA broadcast, I'm pretty sure. So anytime it's top 16 matches on those Saturdays and Sundays, they should have an SSA broadcast. Piecats, what did you decide to coach this team? Why did you decide to, I can't read. Why did you decide to coach this team? During the offseason, I had like 3 or 4 teams that I was kind of associated with, that I was like standing in as a coach on, just doing tryouts and stuff. 2 big factors, and I'll be completely blunt about it. Money. I am not young. I've got a mortgage to pay, and I have to go where the money is. KCP, despite that, has also expressed the desire. At the end of the day, we all want to feel appreciated. We want to feel wanted. We want to feel respected in our craft. And that came from both KCP as well as the players. I basically reached out to the different rosters and stuff that I saw. There was a couple in EU, there was 2 in NA, and then a couple minor region or expansion region rosters that I've discussed with, and kind of showed them, this is my structure, this is my system, this is what I like, this is how I want to approach the game. And had a couple hour conversations with all of them, sat in their scrims, listened to how they talked and all that kind of stuff. And that goes both ways. Not only am I trying out for them, they're trying out for me. And they ended up being the best fit, both financially as well as just system structure, the appreciation the guys gave me, the way they took to the system and the results they got out of it, I think really helped them. So, yeah, I mean, it's a duality of it. Not only is it like selfish, like, hey, I got to pay my bills, I got a mortgage to pay, but also I feel appreciated. I feel respected. The players are really good dudes. All 3 of them are fantastic people. So, really, really happy with the decision. It's been great. Did I choose the team or did KCP? Majority of the time it's the players. I have expressed thoughts and opinions, and it kind of goes in hand with what I was just talked about being respected. In SSA, you have to have 2/3. So, for any region, you have to have 2/3 majority. So we went with, in my opinion, the 2 best players in the region, in Sweaty and To Die For. I think those 2 are objectively the 2 best players in their region. So I'm very happy that I get to associate with that. And then we, as a collective, kind of discussed import options. There was a handful of players that were possible that we could have brought in. And it was a mixture between scrim results as well as opinions and personalities and all that kind of stuff. And Lewis is just fantastic. He's such a good dude. And he's really, really good, surprisingly, to a lot of people. I don't know if people realize how well he played on 100% last year. So hopefully we turn some heads and we get that boy his first major. That being said, last question from Max Anderson says, will we be seeing Lewis again in 1v1s? I don't know. I don't know if Lewis is going to be grinding 1v1s. Obviously, our focus is on 3s, but I do emphasize that all practice is good practice to the guys, whether it is against a lesser team or not. It is important to familiarize yourself with all those things. And like at the end of the day, there is enough time for him to do the 1v1 tournaments as well. So maybe I'll try to push it. I'll try to make sure all the guys sign up for that stuff. The guys did sign up for every cash cup during the off season as well. The only one we had to forfeit was due to the FIFA equals where they were competing for those spots, so we had to forfeit the 3v3. But yeah, I emphasize the guys getting as much practice and money as possible, because at the end of the day, it's like you got to pay your bills. You gotta treat this as a full-time thing, and that's a good way to do it. So pretty important stuff. Questions from chat. Frood. You've talked at length in the past about how NA needs to move towards a more EU play style. Is that something you intend to improve during your time coaching? Yeah, I think historically EU just has a better familiarity with what is important about the game. And it's difficult to play a selfless game because 3 players on the field means everyone is super impactful. You cannot play a selfish game, especially with intangibles and fundamentals being the difference maker nowadays in today's day and age of Rocket League. Sure, mechanics and stuff are important, but everybody's mechanical. Everybody on the field can hit double flip resets and do all the crazy stuff. So I do think it's important to learn from the people that are leading But also I need to accommodate and kind of say, hey, these are the puzzle pieces I have. Let's make our own unique puzzle that fits the strengths and weaknesses of my players. I don't think you can say, hey, this is a system that Falcons, K-Corp, Energy, etc. uses. But I will say, yeah, stylistically, Energy plays like the most team-oriented, EU-esque type team in North America. So it makes sense that they're being successful. So yeah, I definitely want to instill and showcase some results and really put the time and effort to showcase and educate them on some of the other things that we're seeing. It's also the benefit of having Lewis. Lewis has been playing in a system like that for years. So he's familiar with it. It has been very nice watching the players learn from him and vice versa. And him being surprised by some of the things too. Because I'm not afraid to say it. Like, a lot of people look down on SSA, especially after last year with Foot. But the players in SSA are a lot better than people want to give them credit. People forget even when it was Limitless back in the day with Sweaty to Die For and Snowy, they were taking games off of teams at majors. So not bad. So it'll be interesting. I hope to turn some heads, or at least put us on the map and get people to realize. And that also comes with being the coach is like, hey guys, you should be fighting for every interview. You should be fighting for every opportunity to get your name out there. CJ is a prime example. CJ was also on an island in the middle of nowhere for OCE that doesn't get a lot of love and attention or popularity. But by him just being a personable dude and friendly and taking chance to interviews and interacting and making himself well known, dude's built a career out of it. No reason they can't either. So trying to educate and encourage them on those things too. So should be a lot of fun. Breas asks, what will this new coaching role mean for the stream, schedule times, etc.? It's a good question. The cool thing about SSA is hours wise, they're just earlier in the morning. So like I wake up early anyway. So realistically, what will happen on like match days, I'll coach our team on RLCS match days. We'll have our 3-4 hours of matches, whatever it is, in the morning. And then ironically, we pretty much end right as NA or EU start. So realistically, it's not going to change all that much. I would like to think I'm pretty good with time management after doing daily videos and stuff and all those for all the years. So I do have the ability, in my opinion, to balance it. I will say that priority will be the team. If there's ever a time, and you guys have already seen that, where my streams get cut a little bit short and stuff like that, because I have scrims or otherwise, that's going to continue to happen. But I think I've done a pretty good job of balancing. Like, we still stream like 3, 4, or 5 times a week. The only time that changes is with travel and stuff. But the cool thing is with that as well, if we are traveling for work and stuff, that means you guys get more behind the scenes and more unique content. It allows me to innovate and show you guys kind of what's going on behind, which is what most people want to see anyway. So what we'll do or how we'll build into that, you know, hopefully KCP supports me in that way too. It'd be really cool to get some cool footage from them and stuff that I can use for my own channels and stuff, because it only benefits them. But yeah, it should be dope. Will you have the team on stream for some tomfoolery? That's up to them. I'm never going to force their... I will encourage it. They're more than welcome to collaborate and do and whatever, but it is a 8 or 7 hour time zone difference. Right now with daylight savings, it's 8 hours. So like right now, our scrims are going to start in 23 minutes. So that's noon central. That's 8 p.m. for them. So time-wise, it's pretty late night. And because these guys are all pretty good about it, they don't stay up late. They go to bed at a regular time. They go to the gym. They hit routines really, really well. Like, it's pretty dope. It's really nice having a mature team, even though the kids are all 19, 20. I don't think we use any, like, TikTok slang or anything. Every once in a while, they'll drop, like, a 6, 7 or whatever, but that's about it. So, yeah, I'm pretty lucky. I'm pretty lucky with the guys that we got. Really good dudes. But if you guys do have additional questions, if you have questions specifically for David, Josh, or Lewis, let me know. I'll try to pass those over and ask them. But again, I'm not going to pressure these guys to do stuff they don't want to. It's not my place. But hopefully I can lead by example a little bit. So any questions, let me know down below. Pretty dope stuff. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one. Peace. Infinity planet, I'll never move or abandon, cause I've been straight stepping through the game's gates. I guess God gave a